Before we get into this video, we have a new project we want to tell you about. It's been years in the making, conceived while we were through hiking the Appalachian Trail.
If you're watching this video, you probably enjoy real-life adventure stories, reading them, following them, maybe even writing your own.
The project is called Outsideways. Outsideways is an adventure journaling platform for outdoor enthusiasts to share their adventures with family, friends, and the world. So whether you are into hiking or backpacking, canoeing,
Skiing, snowboarding,
cycling, pack rafting, whether you are out for the afternoon, the day, or the weekend,
or maybe you're out for a week or months-long adventure,
Outsideways is the place to share the stories
and share your pictures
of your adventures.
So we're coming out of Neels Gap, where there is an outfitter and a hostel, and we had left early this morning from our previous campsite in the hopes of having a good 4 hours or so at Neels Gap to take care of a bunch of stuff, which included getting some more gear. Like, I had to get a new t-shirt because Laurence was bothering him, so then he took mine early on in the hike, and some other things that we needed. So we had to get some things at the outfitter, and then we had a bunch of internet work to do, which included getting our video, episode 3, to our site. But then we had problems with the connection, and we had emailing to do with people who are helping us further along the way. And in short, it was like crazy. It was a crazy 4 hours until the outfitter closed at 6. The good points were we had lovely weather. It was kind of windy, so we had things like flying all over the place, but it wasn't raining. Our friends were there, so the kids got to hang out with their friends, and we did get some stuff done. So at the beginning of our hike here, we're starting our hike in what's called the hiker bubble. Some people refer to it as that, and it's the high season to start from about March 15th to April 15th. A lot of people who are planning to thru-hike the whole trail start during this window in order to get to Katahdin before it closes sometime in the mid-October. So if you stay at shelters, and we've stayed at a couple shelters in the past few nights, there is a lot of people there, which can be fun if that's your thing. Laurent really likes it, and we've enjoyed meeting people. Last night there was probably about 50 hikers at the shelter that we stayed at, and the shelter itself only holds about 8 people. But people set up their tents and their hammocks and tarps all over the hillside, and it's actually really cool to see. I've never experienced that before, and the places that you camp, at least for me, they've been the places that I've always wanted to go camping. When you go car camping, you want to camp in these kind of places, but you can only get there by hiking, and I really like that. So we are hiking with a rather large group of people. We don't see each other constantly or anything, but we kind of meet up in these shelters and in different places, and there's a lot of people on the trail right now.
So today marks our first official resupply. We had originally anticipated to be at this location in 5 days, but just with the way things went with our late start on the first day, it's taken us 6 days to get here. We had we had estimated what 5 days worth of food would be, and we've done good up to 6 days, and that includes a free meal that we got from when we were at Neels Gap, some trail magic from a church there, and so we're doing good on the food, but this is about the time when we need to resupply, because we don't really have much left for our daily snacks and lunches and those kinds of things. We have a little bit too much supper food, and breakfast is pretty good, so we'll make some adjustments in quantities or ratios as when we stop this afternoon. So this afternoon we're going down into Unicoi Gap, and there's a family there who's going to be picking us up and bringing us into Helen, and letting us use their shower and sleep in a regular bed for the night, and take us to the grocery store and that kind of thing. So we're really blessed to have them helping us out in this regard, and so we're looking forward to that. It's a pretty easy day today, not too many peaks, and just kind of rolling terrain, so everybody's in good spirits. And so far for the first 6 days, everything has gone really well. A little bit cooler. We started out in some warm weather. Today's a little bit cooler, but everything's good. Last night was our first christening, as it were, of the Appalachian Trail. We got our first rainstorm. thankfully, after we had our tent set up and had our supper, so in the evening, maybe around 8:30, but it didn't stop raining until this morning, and thankfully again, we were able to take down our tents in just after the rain stopped. And what was interesting about last night is that the tent that Laurent and I were sleeping in, it's a tent we've borrowed. We have a new tent that's coming to us in a few days in Franklin. So we're borrowing this one, and the seam across the ridge wasn't sealed right, and so a lot of water started coming in, maybe about 1 in the morning, as it rained really hard. And so all of us crammed into our 3-person Hilleberg tent, and it was cozy and warm, and we stayed dry, so disaster, so to speak, averted. And it's actually kind of a fun experience, and not too bad, since most of the wetness, most of the rain occurred while we were in the tents. So I know we're going to have a lot more opportunity to deal with setting up, taking down camp in days of rain, but so far we haven't had to deal with that yet, but we'll get there. Laurent, how you feel?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Any interesting insights for... You spent the night in the rain. What do you think of that?
I think it was fun-ish.
Ish?
I mean, our tent started to leak, so we had to switch tents at like 4 in the morning, so that was not so great, but it was a good experience. And it was cozy in the now 5-person, 3-man tent.
And what do you think about hiking in the rain?
It's cooler. If you got a rain jacket on, you don't get very wet, so I think it's fun.
And also, it's not really raining, so.
Oh, that's not so bad. What do you think, Celine? How are you doing?
Pretty good.
How's the legs feel?
Fine. My neck is sore, but my neck is often sore.
Your neck is sore?
And that's not a leg.
Brienne, how about you?
I'm doing good, but my legs are sore on the up.
Sore on the up?
Yep.
Oh, we're almost at the top.
Yeah.
Then you get to go down.
Yep. And then have a break sometime.
Sometime when we get to the shelter junction.
Yeah.
Where are we going right now?
To the top of the mountain.
What's the name of the mountain?
I don't know. Is it Trey Mountain?
Yes, it's Trey Mountain.
Trey Mountain.
So is this everything you expected?
Well, I didn't really know what to expect, so.
So far so good then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was our first full rain day, which followed a night of full rain as well. So it was a soggy and chilly day, and we arrived at Deep Gap shelter around 4:30 in the afternoon, and there was a couple other people. Actually, there was only one other person there, and 2 people came within the next hour. And then a group of guys came through late, like around 8:30, and they had done a whole whack of miles yesterday to get there. And there was something very comforting about being in a backcountry shelter with a bunch of other hikers. You feel like you're not the only crazies out here hiking in the rain and seeking shelter. And you have like this instant connection with people that I haven't experienced very many other places, and it's just a really unique experience. And when you get up the next morning and you've all, been sheltered for the night from the rain, and you're drying your gear, and somebody lights a fire and you start sharing trail stories, and it's just a really, there's like a camaraderie and this kinship that is very unique, and it's one of the things that I was looking forward to the trail and had read about and hoped for, but when you experience it, it's like real, you know, like, oh yeah, it really is real what they say about making friendships and connections with people on the trail. And that's a really motivating part for us, is making these connections and meeting people and sharing the experience with other people, sharing our stories, sharing everybody hiked those miles in the rain. We all had that experience together, and it bonds you. It bonds you to these people. So that's really cool.